look at your city, Royal Oak, its government and its people. A close look at those who have taken the responsibility of Royal Oak into their hands. Elected officials, dedicated administrators, and the departments that make Royal Oak a city of pride. You'll observe Royal Oak in the process of making things happen.
Trees in all their majestic splendor. The city of Royal Oak is known for its majestic trees. City of Royal Oak is known as the city of trees. And we're going to visit the trees that make up and are predominant in the parks of Royal Oak. We are here in the Star J.C. Park on 13 Mile Road in the city of Royal Oak with Steve Gillette, the Superintendent of Parks and Forestry, to visit and introduce to you the parks in the city of Royal Oak. Steve, glad to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We have a number of parks in Royal Oak. How many do we have?
There's 50 park sites that comprise some 400 plus acres.
400 acres of land. And is there any particular location that they're in?
They're pretty well spread throughout the city. We have a little bit of need down in the southwest corner of the city, but other than that, they're pretty much spread throughout the neighborhoods.
Okay, we're going to visit some of the parks, and right now we're in the Star J.C. Park. Can you tell us a little bit about how this particular park developed and what the items that are here that the people enjoy?
Yeah, Star Park, like most parks in Royal Oak, came into the city's hands through tax reversion back in the 1930s, and pretty much remained as it was a treed site for till the 50s when they had some problems and they cleared all the underbrush, and it stayed that way until just 1977 or 78. We redeveloped the park, which we put in a shelter building with a concession stand, a couple playscapes, an exercise trail, a frisbee golf course. We do have restroom facilities here with handicap facilities available. We also have one of the only live steam train lines in the state that's in a public park. They run in this park on at least one weekend out of every month, first full weekend of every month, and give free rides to any park patrons.
Was that a group that has that?
Yeah, it's a private club, and we provide the facility, and they provide all the equipment. The track is all theirs. They have an agreement, a license agreement with us. They have to provide insurance and things like that.
And they maintain that, and they provide rides for the young people?
That's correct, yeah. There's most of their trains are built by themselves, and very extensive, detailed, true-to-scale trains. It's a 1/8 scale train. Mm-hmm. And it's really a unique opportunity if you get a chance to come out and see it.
And the owners of the trains, and they assume different roles, don't they, on the trains? There's one will act as an engineer, one will act in different capacities as they entertain and give the youngsters rides.
Yeah, that's correct. They line people up. They keep it real safe, and they take turns doing different things. They do a lot of maintenance on the tracks, and they've got specialists in different areas too. But some of the guys won't let anybody else run their engine, but there's a lot of cooperation, interrelationship between the guys.
I noticed that you have a replica of a Wild West exhibit, or for the kids to play on.
Yeah, that's a ghost town.
Is that what it is?
It's one of the only ones around here that I know of. It's really well received by the kids. We've got it surrounded by sand, so if they if they jump off, they're hitting a cushioned surface, that type of thing. And we also have parking of 90 cars, and on a warm weekend, you'll find this place full, just about every weekend.
Is there a particular season for the parks?
Our parks are used all seasons. Granted, the most use obviously is in the summer, but there's cross-country skiing here in the winter, and well, that's primary use in the winter.
How about the hours that they are open during the day? Is there any restrictions?
Most of them are closed at dusk. Some of the athletic fields, especially the lighted ones, are open till like 11 o'clock, but from 7 a.m. till dusk normally.
Mm-hmm. Are there concessions available here?
There is a concession stand here. There also is a concession stand at Memorial Park. Those are the only two concession stands we have.
Okay, and what's roughly the size of this park?
This park, I believe, is around 20 acres. It's one of our larger parks. We have parks as small as less than a quarter acre also, and as large as 31 acres.
As far as usage is concerned, well, where does Star J.C. Park fall?
This is the most intensely used park of non-structured use. If you talk about structured use, by structured use, I mean athletic teams, scheduled athletic teams and that type of thing. Probably Memorial Park or Warden Park would have more usage as far as numbers of people, but this park is, you know, for the family get together, and it does have some scheduled athletic use. It's the most used in the city.
I've noticed on the weekends particularly there seems to be a lot of family use, family picnic type of situation. The picnic tables, and as a matter of fact, we're sitting on it, and these are in beautiful shape. There must be some sort of routine then that your department follows on the maintenance of the equipment.
Oh yeah, we're on everything is on a regularly scheduled maintenance. Tables, primarily, we don't do much finishing on them because it just doesn't pay off. They're out in the weather, and we replace boards on them as needed and that type of thing. The park is mowed on a maximum of a 14-day schedule. All the hard surfaces under the shelters are cleaned at that time, and if there were any notice of any problems, we come out immediately and take care of it. The restrooms are cleaned on a daily basis. They're open and closed. They're closed at 9 o'clock, opened at probably 9 in the morning.
One final question on Star JC. Are there any charges to the residents for the use of the park?
The only fee would be as if you reserved the pavilion and wanted electricity, and there's a $5 fee for that.
Well, then for the citizens of Royal Oak, and speaking of that, do they have to be a resident of Royal Oak to make a reservation for the pavilion?
No, they don't. If it came down to a resident versus a non-resident, we'd give a resident preference, but no, we do not have a residency policy for our parks.
I think that's wonderful, and you can tell here we're in the afternoon and the park is being used very liberally, and in the weekend as we go by we notice the families that are here, so it speaks well of the park policy. Steve, let's take a run over to Memorial Park and take a look at Memorial Park, okay?
Okay.
This is Memorial Park, Steve, and I noticed that we have a little different feature. Not only is this a different type of park, this is what you would term a playground park. Is that correct?
It has both active and passive play areas, or what I call active and passive. We have quite a bit of picnicking here. One of the activities you can see right now is some fellows out with a metal detector looking for coins, jewelry, that type of thing.
Is that right? And they do that around the play areas, particularly in all the parks?
Yeah, in the more used parks. You see them quite often.
So this active and passive. By active meaning the active type of programs that are sponsored and co-sponsored by Parks and Recreation, the baseball games, tennis matches, and depending on the season, of course, for the baseball, they would also have. Do they have soccer here? Yeah,
we have soccer and football at this facility also in the fall.
But this is in all the parks. How many parks again do we have in Royal Oak?
50.
50 parks. Where would this rank as far as usage is concerned?
This is one of the higher used parks, especially if you include the scheduled activities, the baseball, softball that's played here, and the football. Probably is, in sheer numbers, the most used park in Royal Oak.
My recollection is Memorial Park seems to be the star, if I may use that word, the star park as far as feature ball games. Is that correct? It has lights over the major diamonds.
Yeah, there's 3 ball diamonds here, all of which are lighted. We have one major baseball diamond that has a 370-foot fence and probably has the best lighting in southeast Michigan short of Tiger Stadium.
Is that right?
That's correct.
We're taking a look at the various features, and there's one of the, is that a sweeper or a mower that's going by in the background?
That's a turf sweeper.
Turf sweeper, so that's part of the maintenance, and it's just an indication that on a daily basis there is maintenance in all the parks.
That's correct. This park also has the Royal Oak Art Fair, which is going to be July 11th and 12th, and so we're doing a little bit of extra sprucing up for that right now.
Okay, and that's going to be in this area here?
Yeah, it's over a little closer to Woodward. It stretches over almost to this area.
Okay, as we look, and we're looking right now in the direction of Woodward, there is a particular play apparatus over there that's quite complicated. Can you explain that to us? What is that?
Yeah, it's a wooden play structure. It's a series of decks and climbing platforms and escape routes from them in the line of slides. There's a roller slide, there's a circular slide, and a tunnel slide. There's climbing tunnels, there's sliding poles, a cargo net that the kids can climb up and down. There's a tire swing on it. Pretty interesting. There's a lot of different aspects of play available to a child on that.
So that particular then play apparatus gets a lot of usage by the young people.
It sure does, and it's the nice thing about something that's as diverse as that is it's usable by many age groups, not just aimed at, say, a 12 to 14 or a 10 to 12-year-old. Any child from about 4 years on up can use that.
Mm-hmm. And as we've been watching it, you can see in the background the cars going by, and that's Woodward Avenue. And you wouldn't think in this serene atmosphere, Steve, that we're that close to a busy thoroughfare of Woodward. And Woodward, as you know, is one of the most busiest thoroughfares, at least as it goes through the city of Royal Oak. And yet here in Memorial Park, we have a serene park atmosphere. We have the various picnic tables that the families enjoy, and we have seen the people at the picnic tables and the other play structures that are here. But this, as you say, is a you'd call a active and passive park. There are other types of parks. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. There's nature parks, which is totally a passive use in my mind. There's obviously the total athletic fields that we have, such as Warden Park also. We have 2 nature parks in the city, Cummingston and Quickstead, and one of them is a climax forest, the other is not a climax forest, but they both are primarily just a nature trail, natural area.
Well, that sounds very interesting, so why don't we take the opportunity to visit one of the nature trails in the nature forest at Quickstead Park.
Okay, Jack.
You're looking at one of the rabbits in the Oak Quickstead Nature Center. Steve Gillette and I, Steve is the superintendent of Parks and Forestry for the city of Royal Oak. We're here at Quickstead Nature Center. Steve, is that just a common sight now to see rabbits here in the Nature Center?
Well, you can see rabbits, owls. In the spring, there's usually wood duck that nest in this area. Every manner of native bird to the area. This truly is a nature center. It is totally untouched by us, other than a little bit of work on the paths occasionally. The only tree work we do in here is if it's a dangerous situation. We pretty much let nature take its course in this area.
What's the size of this park?
This is 31 acres, I believe.
Are there tours that are run here?
Fall, winter, and spring, one of the high school teachers works for us on Saturday mornings and has nature tours, a different theme normally every week.
So this is just another type of feature, or a feature that is available then to the residents of Royal Oak, a variety, if you will, within the park system.
Oh yeah, this is kind of unique to the area. There's not many cities that are as old as Royal Oak and as built up as Royal Oak, which have a true nature area within them.
Let's take a walk down through Nature's Trail. Now, it's rather dark in there, and I'm not sure that we're going to be able to pick up too much. So we'll just take you down and show you as much as we can as to what it's like in the Nature Trail. We're going to take a walk into the wilderness down Nature's Trail, and you see the rabbit that's right in front of us. How old would you say that rabbit is, Steve?
Oh, he's probably 4 or 5 weeks old is all.
Okay, he'll probably run off as we get closer. He's staying right there as we're going right on by. You see how friendly and unscared of the humans. We're going right in on a close-up of him. And now he just moves off a little bit off to the side. So he must be accustomed to having people around, Steve. That's amazing.
He's pretty naive, or else he's pretty used to people, that's for sure. And pretty hungry.
Yes, yeah, he's eating up. Speaking of that, they rely just on the natural food then? That's in here for the feeding of the...
I don't know of anybody that feeds animals, other than we do feed the birds in the winter some.
What, with just regular birdseed type of...
Yeah, and the person that does the interpretive programs in here takes care of feeding the birds.
Okay, we're down in the Nature Trail, Steve. What about this forest that...
Well, this is a classic example of a climax forest. It's a primarily beech and maple trees. That is the climax in the forest. What do I want to say? It's a climax in forest development. They start out with aspens and go through pines and then oaks and then to beech maple as a climax forest.
So that means like in seniority or the growth stages of the forest, that this is the optimum in the development of the forest?
That's correct, yeah.
You can barely see, if you look up through the leaves, you can just see the sky. If you look up to the top of the trees, you can just see the dense foliage, the tree cover that exists inside here. It really does protect the undergrowth. So I guess that what we are seeing then on the forest floor is just what you would see in a forest. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is a forest.
And there are a few trees that are down, and just as you would suppose in a natural forest setting. Are there any other animals? We've seen the rabbit. Or would we likely see anything else inside here?
If it were closer to evening, we may see raccoons and possums. I doubt if there'd be any deer in here. They wouldn't like this type of growth anyways. They like a younger, less mature forest.
Okay, so is this the only park of this type that we have in the city of Royal Oak?
No, there also is Cummingston Park, which is out on the north city limits by Myers. That also is a nature park, has a little bit of active area, but primarily a nature park.
Okay, so and that also has the nature trail in it, and much the same as this,
yeah,
maintained by the city.
It's very similar, except that is not a climax beech maple forest. That's still got oak and ash in it. So it is, it hasn't gone as far through the stages as this one has.
Okay, we look up from the trunk of the tree that's right in the front of us there to the right. We can see that has matured very well. It looks like it's a pretty strong tree, as all of them do in here. There doesn't seem to... Do you inspect these for blight or anything such as that on a routine basis?
Not really. the dominant trees are going to survive in this situation just because of the type of cover there is here.
Okay, well, this is our nature then in the city of Royal Oak, and we have two parks like this. We have other parks. We have playground parks, and we're going to visit some of those. So next on to a playground park. Here at Red Run, Steve, this is a rather large park and looks like it's used rather extensively. All of the parks that we visited, there seems to be one particular aspect that stands out above the other. You know, like it might be a playground feature, or it might be the athletic fields. In Red Run, what would, in your mind, is the stellar attraction?
Well, there's a tot lot that was just recently put in and is being expanded. There was the money for the tot lot came from Seroptimus International, which is a women's service organization, and they donated the seed money for it, and the city matched a portion of that after the neighbors came to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and went to the Seroptimus to ask for some assistance in developing the park. So that's probably the main feature in this park now. It also has a softball and baseball diamond and 4 tennis courts, which all are quite extensively used too. And we have a soccer football field, which we co-use with Churchill Junior High School.
Okay, and the location of this park also seems to be kind of centrally located, is it?
Yeah, it's in the central eastern quadrant of the city. It's on Girard in Vermont, and right by Churchill Junior High and adjacent to Red Run Golf Course.
It speaks well, I think, of the city's effort in order to balance the availability of the playgrounds, the parks, to all the residents of Troy, of all the residents of Royal Oak.
Yeah, this actually goes way back to when Ed Shafter was the city manager here, and Ed had the foresight to acquire property whenever he could throughout the city for neighborhood parks.
And we have 50 parks in Royal Oak. What are some of the other parks that are of import?
Oh, probably one of the more extensively used parks is VFW Park, which is down adjacent to the Boys Club at Lincoln and Campbell. And VFW Park is unique in the fact that it has a wheelchair accessible playground, which was totally designed and built by the city staff.
Okay, well, Lynn, why don't we go visit the VFW Park right now?
Okay, we'll see you down there, Jack.
Right. Here at VFW Park, Steve, I see what you mentioned by the handicap play structure. This is quite a magnificent installation, and I'm surprised by the size of it. It's rather large.
Yeah, well, part of it is logistically it has to be large in order to meet handicap code requirements. You can only build ramps at a specific grade, can't be any steeper than that, and in order to get any elevation you have to expand outward, and it does meet all handicap codes.
That in itself must have been quite a requirement. Did you have any consultations from any groups or organizations relative to not only need, but that which would be in the best interests of the handicapped people in Royal Oak?
Oh yeah, we worked very closely with the school district, and specifically the people that are in the special needs area in the school district.
When was this playground completed?
It's completed in 1985.
And the use of it, I noticed that though it is designed and used for the handicapped, that the other boys and girls are also getting an extensive use of.
Oh yeah, especially the younger kids, because the smaller children, the real little ones that are just barely able to walk, are not intimidated by this. It's because it's easy, it's easy accessible for somebody in a wheelchair. It also makes it very easy for anybody who's a little bit insecure about their mobility.
And the size also, I think, is of interest to them. It's a magnificent, as I say, a magnificent structure. Looking at it in big adult terms, to a youngster, as a small boy or girl looking up at it, must look like a huge monument and open all sorts of vistas and challenges to climb and to participate in.
Oh yeah, there's all levels of challenge there, up to a reasonable amount. The overall height is the overall height of the thing is only 5 feet at the highest point, but there are escape features all throughout it, and it's a kid can go to their peak and then get off if they want to.
What is the one we've never gotten into, but just out of curiosity, can you give us a ballpark figure as to the cost of developing just that particular structure?
Well, the materials for the handicap playground itself cost $22,000. That's not labor. We didn't track the labor real closely, but it was probably in the $15,000 range for labor.
So we're talking about $35,000, $40,000 as a completed structure, and very worthwhile, I'll say. It's been used extensively, and we have noted handicapped boys and girls and adults that have taken advantage of it. And as we look around the rest of the park, Steve, we notice that there are still the facilities that you and your people provide so extensively and so capably to the residents. The picnic tables are here. They're in excellent shape. There's the barbecues that are out and around, and of course the trash barrels that are conveniently located, and I'm sure that you encourage everybody to use those.
Oh, definitely, and that's one thing you can't have too many of, and if people have to walk too far, they won't use them. So we put out as many as we can put together. This park is kind of unique because it is the largest facility we have in the south end of the city, and also we have, we consider this an area park rather than a neighborhood park. We have off-site or off-street parking and also restroom facilities at this facility also.
Well, this is a little smaller park than the others that we've just visited, and there is another larger park. Warden Park is a large-size park, does not have the same capabilities. So what you had told us earlier is that we, in the park system of Royal Oak, have from small parks to large parks, and they're all for a particular purpose.
That's correct.
And would you say that the usage has been satisfactory?
Oh, this. Every time we've gone through and redeveloped a park, we've seen an immediate increase in usage, and that just tells you that that's something we have to keep doing. We have to keep updating our capital equipment expenditures in parks.
And that then gets us to the cost of doing a program such as this, maintaining the parks. How about staffing? How many people do you have?
We have 14 full-time park maintenance people, and then we supplement that with over 20 seasonal employees in the summer.
The full-time and part-times, do they also maintain the ball fields? Do they do the lining and so forth for the ball games?
Yeah, we have one full-time employee doing that and 6 seasonal working on that, and they are specifically assigned to that.
Can you divulge to us a ballpark figure of what does your budget look like for the maintenance of parks?
Well, the overall budget, which includes park maintenance, tree maintenance, some right-of-way maintenance, but is over $600,000.
And as we have seen with over 50 parks in the city of Royal Oak, it's well used, and I think an outstanding job is done. On behalf of all of the residents of Royal Oak and those that use the park, I want to thank you, Steve, very much for being with us today and taking us on a tour of some of our key parks. And might mention that there are some 46, 7 other parks in the city of Royal Oak, and encourage all of you to participate. Steve, anything else you'd like to add to the residents?
I'd just like to thank them for their support, and hope that you keep using the parks and enjoying them.
And I'm sure they will. And we would be remiss if we didn't add that if it were not for the support of the city manager and the city council and the mayor, the city of Royal Oak would not be fortunate enough to have a program such as we have. We do have an outstanding parks and forestry program.